First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Pro golfers visit a Gainesville hospital to show their support and maybe pick up a few pointers.
Plus, you asked, we answered. What's up with the closed part of the Lachua Trail in Paynes Prairie?
Also tonight, a stormwater plan could mean tougher rules for future growth in Alachua County. And we're 2 days into February now, but it certainly hasn't felt like it. Good evening. It's February 2nd. I'm Connor Ingalls.
And I'm Emily Braun. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying this prolonged warmth. WFT's Amanda Hawley joins us now from the Weather Center. Amanda, are these warmer temperatures going to continue?
You can enjoy the warmer temperatures for at least one more day here in north central Florida because I'm tracking big changes. A strong cold front is making its way through the south right now, bringing already severe weather through Louisiana, going to be bringing severe weather tonight into tomorrow through Alabama and Mississippi, making its way towards north central Florida by Wednesday night and into Thursday. Now, for the now, though, we can enjoy that warmer temperature, and I'll talk more about that in my main weather forecast. But check out your hour-by-hour. Temperatures mild through the evening, clouds increasing, and a southwesterly breeze bringing in some warmer temperatures for the morning, 65 degrees by Wednesday morning. I'm not expecting as dense fog as we saw this morning, but it could still be a possibility out there. But like I said, in my main weather forecast, I'll tell you more about that approaching front. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Alachua County is looking to improve the environment
with new stormwater regulations. And Alexa Lytle joins us now to explain what these regulations are all about.
Well, Emily, current systems for handling water runoff would not be affected, but future growth and redevelopment would have to comply with tougher new rules. The program would create a detailed manual to specify how stormwater must be handled. The Alachua County Environmental Protection Department is looking to clean up pollution in Alachua County by creating new rules for future development and redevelopment. A stormwater manual will force developers to put in certain stormwater drains to help keep the area clean.
Right now, when it rains, a lot of that nitrogen and phosphorus pollution just goes right into the aquifer or right into the lake. We need to do a better job of trapping that out.
The goal of the requirements is to make stormwater cleaner before it soaks into the ground. If a manual is adopted, the county has the power to decide who will be forced to follow the new regulations, regardless of whether the project falls within a city's borders. Some municipalities are concerned that if the stormwater manual is accepted, it will slow down development in their area. Newberry Mayor Bill Conrad has his own concerns regarding the manual.
Like many things with the Alachua County Department of Environmental Protection, it's being pushed through real fast, and it doesn't give us a chance to really understand the impact on our cities.
He wants cities to get the option to opt into the plan before it's mandatory so that they can make sure it is good for their cities.
All we're wanting to do is get up to speed with what potential changes the county may be developing in the manual and take a look at those changes and see how they impact citizens and residents of the city of Newberry.
The municipalities want to be sure the manual will not hurt them before they are forced to adopt it. There are 4 experts working on it, but it could take another 3 months before the proposed manual is complete. It will then have to be adopted by the county before the regulations can be put in place.
Thanks, Alexa. And breaking news out of Tallahassee. After hearing oral arguments today, the Florida Supreme Court issued an indefinite stay of the execution for Kerry Michael Lambrix. Lambrix was convicted in 1984 of killing 2 people in southwest Florida. His execution has been scheduled for next week, but his lawyers argued that his case and many others need to be reviewed in light of a new Supreme Court decision on Florida's death penalty system. And a Gainesville neighborhood is worried about a proposed expansion harming signature wetlands.
Opponents say it would be bad news for Blues Creek. Christian Andrigian has the story.
People who live in the subdivision are fighting a developer's plan for the infrastructure to expand. They're against the idea of utility lines being buried under the neighborhood creek. At Blues Creek on the north side of Gainesville, New Generation Home Builders plans to build a utility line underneath the creek to expand the neighborhood. But some residents worry about the wetlands because the creek is what gave their neighborhood its name.
I'm opposed mainly because, I am concerned about conserving the nature and the beauty of what attracted us to this neighborhood.
A 1998 legal settlement calls for no construction or disturbance of the conservation area. except for nature trails, walkovers, or gazebos. Opponents say this expansion will be a betrayal and may cost them money. If this utility line were to be put underneath the creek, those who live at a low elevation will be forced to buy or increase their flood insurance, making residents around this neighborhood extremely unhappy. The City Plan Board voted yesterday against the line, but homeowners fear it's really up to the Water Management District.
People who voted in favor of the whole proposal voted for it because they were certain that the utility line would not fail.
Homeowners say they'll continue the fight. The revised plan will be discussed February 25th at the next Gainesville Plan Board meeting.
Thanks, Christian. A K-9 unit in Marion County helped catch a suspected purse snatcher. Deputies say Matthew Barrett stole a 71-year-old's purse as the woman was getting into her car outside of a Dollar General. 3 people who witnessed the crime were unable to stop the robber, but noticed which way he fled on a bicycle. Deputies showed up with a K-9 and followed the trail through nearby woods to a camper where Barrett was arrested. Despite months of work, portions of a popular trail at Paynes Prairie are still closed due to wet conditions. The Lachua Grass Trail was partially closed in October because of flooding, which made it unsafe for visitors. Construction on the boardwalk portion is almost complete, with only a few more sections of rotting wood to replace. There's no date for when the closed portion will reopen. It all depends on the weather.
When the trail has dried out enough that we can get our equipment back in there to maintain it and mow it, then we can reopen it. But until then, if we can't safely maintain the trail, we can't have visitors out there.
Despite the temporary closure, visitors are still able to get up close and personal with the alligators that call Paynes Prairie home. Would you like to hear more about stories like this? Head over to WUFT.org and check out Find Out Florida. This story was submitted to us by a viewer like you, and we want to bring you more stories that you want to know more about.
Now taking a look at some headlines from around the state. A man in Melbourne, Florida is suspected of shooting and killing his estranged wife before taking his own life. His wife, Sandra Cook, was actually a candidate for Teacher of the Year, and concerns began when she didn't show up to work. Police officers say they found Cook and her husband dead inside their home. And the surveillance footage shows a war veteran in Central Florida fighting off a would-be robber. The robber pulled a weapon on the clerk at a store in Mims, and he demanded he fill a bag with cash. The clerk, who did multiple tours in Iraq, was able to wrestle the weapon from the robber and chase him out of the shop. This video shows a small plane that went down in South Florida. 2 people were on board the plane that crashed right off the coast at Haulover Beach. The pilot and passenger are both in good condition. There's no word yet about what caused the plane to go down.
A Florida man was in court Monday after federal agents raided his home and found more than a half-dozen pipe bombs. Authorities say the Tampa man told them he's part of a local militia group. Lori Davison reports.
ATF agents got a tip over the weekend that Michael Ramos had explosive devices in his house. Immediately, federal agents and Tampa police started investigating. They learned Ramos had expressed anti-government sentiments in the past. So they got a search warrant and went into the house today. They found 7 pipe bombs along with an AK-47, a .45 caliber pistol, large amounts of ammunition, and bomb-making materials. Ramos was taken into custody and charged with possession of explosive devices. His landlord says she had no idea anything like this was going on inside the house.
My reaction is very shocked, honestly, because that guy they look very nice guy, you know, and the time they living in here is very nice guy.
You know, if one of these devices had gone off, he lived in a duplex, so if one of them had gone off, anybody within a 50-foot radius would have been either severely injured or killed. So, yeah, we're very grateful that we got them off the street.
This is a picture of Ramos from his public Facebook page. His landlord identified him to us. ATF agents say he hasn't given any explanation yet about why he had the bombs or what he was planning to do with them.
There's much more ahead on WUFT News First at 5. Coming up, kids at UF Health got tips on their virtual golf games from professional golfers. We'll take a look at the visit next.
Plus, if you didn't stay up late watching the Iowa caucus results roll in, we've got you covered. We have full coverage of the results and more coming up in our political segment.
And we can expect one more warm, calm day here in north central Florida before a big front makes its way through the area. I'm tracking it. My main weather forecast, I'll tell you when it will arrive on our doorstep.